Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Wednesday, the 4th of June, 2025. You're watching Morning Brew on Politics Social. I'm Graham Hughes, and you're awesome. Hello, welcome to the show. We've got Vendetta in the chat, we've got Joanna Hammond, we've got Billy Kershaw, we've got Martin Harrow, we've got Sarah Davis in the chat. Hi, Sarah. We've got Alan Jackson in there as well. We've got Diz, we've got SG, we've got Leonora, and we've got Janeway is in the chat. Hi, Janeway, how you doing this morning? And if you'd like to join our beautiful friends in the beautiful chat, all you need to do is hit that big juicy subscribe button, wait for about a minute, and then you'll be able to opine fairly openly on there. Don't swear or your message won't come up. I can't control that. That's a YouTube thing. Don't be a troll, because we will mute you and boot you, and that is an us thing. That's what we do. We have moderators in the chat who have a little spanner next to their name. See, Alistair is a moderator. Janeway is a moderator. Diz is a moderator. And they will get rid of you because we don't want you. We don't want your kind. We don't want bigots on this channel. We just want lovely people. We just want to have a good time. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a party. Anyway, right. So let's get into it. Today we're going to be talking about the DOGE of war. See what I did there? Don't forget to give Graham a like. Thank you very much. I thought I read that almost as don't forget to give Graham a lick. And I'm like, steady on. Bit early for that kind of shenanigans. But no, I'm not actually living in a 1970s sex comedy. Despite all, the signs otherwise. Anyway, so we're going to be talking about Thiel, Trump, and DOGE today. So Peter Thiel is the owner of Palantir, who are a company that steals and harvests data. And they've already made inroads getting data for the NHS in this country. Anyway, we'll get to it in a moment. But basically, Donald Trump is selling off American civil liberties and the data of individual American citizens to his billionaire mates as a thank you for his billionaire mates bankrolling his jail avoidance scheme, which is to become the president of the United States of America. And Nigel Farage is watching all this with a notepad, scribbling down notes. Or maybe he's getting someone else to do that for him because he is a millionaire. He's a multi-millionaire. He's got a bank account with Coots. You don't. But, we need to get them into government, and then you can ensure that every multi-millionaire has a bank account with Coots, because that's the important thing. Make sure every multi-millionaire gets to fly around Europe on a private jet. Yeah, that's the important thing. Anyway, so Peter Thiel's Palantir is building a national citizen database in America, authorized by executive order, and this will fuse together tax data, medical records, your debts, if you're a Yank, obviously, student loans, etc., and more. Meanwhile, in Britain, Farage is rolling out a Musk-inspired DOGE unit involving Aaron Banks, no less. God, it's like the private school mafia have come all together to try and take away what's little remains of your civil rights. Isn't that nice of them? They're taking time out from being feckless, drug-addled billionaires to destroy your life. They're just all heart, these feckless multimillionaires, aren't they? Yeah. Anyway, he's going to comb through. The plan is to comb through council finances with a fine-tooth comb with some crypto nerds in charge. No democratic mandate, no transparency, and no ethics oversight, because who needs ethics? Where we're going, we don't need ethics. We hate diversity. Imagine standing up in a room full of people, right, who are all different, and then saying, I hate it here. I hate it in this room where there's black people and brown people and lesbians. I hate it here. I want everyone the same. Imagine being that person to stand up and say, I hate diversity. That's what they say. The D in DEI is diversity. They hate it. Equity. They hate it. Equality. They hate it. Inclusion. Fuck off. Why should I have to include people? Why should I have to make reasonable adjustments of people who might have a disability? Why should I do that? I don't want to. What a twatty thing to say. What a twatty thing to be as someone who's against DEI. And you have people who say they're anti-woke. And all woke means is just being polite to people, being nice. It's the new political correctness. They used to call it political correctness. Before then, it was just called manners. People with their manners, doing their manner things, being nice, saying please and thank you and holding doors open like a twat. Grrr, makes me so angry, treating other people with respect. Here's where we are. So, the message from Reform UK to Kent County Council. Oof. Got to be very careful this time of the morning to be saying Kent County Council. Could be worse. It could be Kent Country Council. Should you resist this request, we are ready to pass a council motion to compel the same, and will consider any obstruction to be gross misconduct. What? So, look, there make no bones about it. This isn't about efficiency, right? This isn't about cut and waste. This is about silencing critics, centralising power to the private school mafia, and turning public institutions into private fiefdoms, which is what the private school mafia want to do. They already dominate the public sphere like absolute motherfuckers. Like, I don't think people understand. And this is why I want everyone who didn't go to private school, and that is 93% of us, right? Who is tempted, anyone in that cohort, the vast majority, who goes, yeah, but private schools, not everyone who goes to private schools is bad. Yeah, I know. Not everyone who smokes is bad. I still want smoking banned in pubs. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying they're bad people necessarily, but it's a bad thing. It's a bad thing that we can get rid of if we want to. But I just want to get these people who make excuses, mealy-mouthed excuses, for these institutions that have been screwing us over for decades, for centuries, actually, in this country. I just want them to go and have a look at that list. Go and have a look at privateschoolmafia.com. Just send someone in your life. Do this today. Just say, hey, have you seen this list? Act all. You've obviously had the conversation in the past. You don't need to bring it up again. Just say, bloody hell, have you seen this list of over 1,260 celebrities? 1,260. I mean, come on. What more evidence? It's not an exhaustive list. There's still loads more people to put on that list. I reckon I'll get up to 1,500 by the end of the year. Seriously. People in the public eye. And 90% of the people on that list, you've heard their name. You've seen them on telly. I mean, there's some high court judges and stuff that are on there that you might not know by name. But, I mean, wow. It is just a bit much. And who's on that list? Farage, Tice, Banks, Wigmore, Michael Gove, Boris Johnson, Jacob Rees-Mogg, David Cameron, who got us into this problem in the first place, Gideon Osborne, Jeremy Hunt, Jeremy Irons, Jeremy Corbyn, Jeremy Clarkson, all the Jeremys are on there. Bloody hell. Anyone famous called Jeremy's probably on that list. My God. I tell you what, though, there are a few national treasures who are on that list. David Attenborough, for one. He's a good one. Not everyone who's not on that list is awesome, but some of us are. Hey, thank you very much to Sarah. Have a chat. Thank you, Sarah. It's very kind of you this morning. £2 super chat. All the way from Wales, Borida, as they say, I believe. Captain Coconut says, Reform promises to cut budgets to save money. After 14 years of austerity, there is only one bone left. They think they can cut it more. Lol. Yeah, I agree. Don't know why I had to perform that in such a theatrical way. I'm just feeling a bit theatrical this morning. I don't know. Anyway, so This is privatization of surveillance and governance by people who openly admire dictators and dream of replacing democracy with algorithms on both sides of the Atlantic. What we're seeing in America is coming to the UK if we don't stop the Farage monster, the new host body that the tapeworm that is Nigel Farage is currently infesting. Right, we need to stop refuck. Nigel Farage needs to have his Gerald Ratner moment. That's what he needs. And it needs to happen sooner rather than later. And we need to be on him constantly, right? I want to see, I don't know why this hasn't happened, an interview with Nigel Farage where they ask him about the pilot of the plane that he was in when it crashed in 2011. The pilot of that plane took his own life 2 years later. Now, I will put it to Nigel Farage, right? I would ask him, were you friends? Were you friends with this man? Was he a friend of yours? Because obviously the guy was going through some pretty heavy post-traumatic stress disorder after that event, which is understandable. Did Nigel Farage pay for or offer to pay for counselling for this guy? Now, don't forget, Nigel Farage, multi-millionaire, he was making over £1 million a year as an MEP. On the gravy train like you would not believe, taking money for not just his wife, but also his mistress from European taxpayers. Not just you, but our friends and colleagues, brothers and sisters across the channel. That's what he was doing. That's what he was doing. He had the money. He had multi-millions. He had enough money to have a posh bank account at Coutts. And yet he didn't pay for his friend who was seriously suffering from mental problems, or even if they weren't friends, that guy saved his life. That guy saved Nigel Farage's life by managing to land that plane, albeit upside down in the field. And what did Nigel do? Get back to him? He took him to court. Look it up. Look up this story. This is unbelievable. If this was any other politician, this would be all you would hear about them. If this was Tony Blair, and we still talk to this day about the government scientist who took his own life. We still talk to this day about Iraq. You can't think of Tony Blair without thinking of Iraq and the weapons of mass destruction, which were never found. We need to hang this round Farage's neck like a fucking albatross. And then there's what he's done with his connections with Russia, which are off the chart. He used to appear on Russia Today with a moustache. Don't know how the moustache felt about it, but he used to be there. Russia Today, meeting up with the Russian ambassador. There's been no inquiry into the Brexit shit referendum, the fraudurendum, in which we know that the Russians interfered, but we've never done any investigation into it whatsoever. I mean, it's like there are so many people in this country who have the memory of a goldfish. Nigel Farage has cost this country over £1 trillion. And all he's doing is whinging about the fact he can't have a posh bank account. £1 trillion. It's a truly staggering number. It is 1,000 billion pounds. £1 billion is a fuckload. And we're talking about 1,000 of them. And that's how much he's cost our economy so far. So far, since the Brexit vote. £1 trillion with a T. 1 million. Enough to make 1 million millionaires. Jesus. So, let's talk about, £1 million is enough for a lottery to give £1 million worth of money, £1 million to somebody in this country every day for what, 12 years? 12 years? How many days? Oh, how many years? Years in a million days. There you go. How many years? Oh my God. Wow. No, it's a bit more than that. So they could give £1 million to a person, right? In the UK every day for 2,000 739 days. That's how much a trillion is. And that's how much he's cost us. That's how much Nigel Farage, this one man, this one frog-faced gobshite, this privately educated knob has cost our country. And yet people don't seem to fucking put this together. They're like, yeah, no, it's fine. Everything's fine. That is fine. 1 million days, £1 million for somebody in this country every day for 2,739 years. Oh, that is just in fucking insane. Wow. When you put it like that, actually, that shocked me. I didn't do the maths very well in my head. I think I was thinking that thing at like 1 million seconds is like X many years or something. It's not, is it? I don't know. It's a few months. But days? Wow, that's a long time. So let's talk about Palantir. Palantir. This is co-founded by Peter Thiel, who's a Nazi. Palantir is a US data mining company named after the all-seeing orbs of Lord of the Rings fame, the spheres of doom. Well, they weren't spheres of doom. They were made as a way to communicate between Numenor and the mainland in Middle-earth. And they were corrupted. They were corrupted by Sauron, who made them evil. And it gave him a vision to see what was happening in the rest of Middle-earth. And obviously it was a Palantir that drove Denethor mad. You'll never look at cherry tomatoes the same way ever again. So mad that he burnt himself alive. He immolated himself on his son's funeral pyre and ran the 100 meters off the edge in a very dramatic death there. Denethor being the steward of Gondor. It was waiting for the return of the king. Bit of a spoiler in the title of the book there, John. Yeah. Old JRR, John Ronald Reuel. Anyway, this is originally funded by, get this, the CIA. The venture capital arm of the CIA, which was called In-Q-Tel. The fuck did they come up with these names? Its software is used for military intelligence, predictive policing, Minority Report, border enforcement, all that ICE shit, that's them, and data fusion, which is basically stealing people's data so that you can target them with adverts for your favourite candidate or your favourite authoritarian dictator. Nice! Palantir's platform Foundry is already embedded across multiple US federal agencies, the DHS, the IRS, the HHS, and ICE. You name it, they're in there. They've got their little fingers in all those pies. And Palantir is here to disrupt, says the CEO, Alex Karp, who is a fucking nutter. So you think that Peter Thiel is bad enough? Alex Karp, go and have a look at some clips of him being a fucking nutcase. Palantir is here to disrupt and, when necessary, to scare our enemies and, on occasion, kill them. That's a quote from the fucking CEO of this fucking company. Am I making myself clear? Am I making myself very clear about how evil this company is? Oh my God. Like, I remember going on fucking, signing petitions and going on marches against Nestle, against Coca-Cola, against Starbucks, and all kinds. All these evil companies, against Shell and Exxon and BP. And we're going, oh my God, these companies are so evil. You couldn't be more evil. I'm signing petitions against arms manufacturers making landmines that were being planted in East Timor and maiming children. Munitions being used by the Indonesian government to carpet bomb parts of East Timor. Armaments made in this country. I thought, you can't get more evil than that. Turns out you can. Turns out you can get more evil than that. You can get a lot more evil than that, in fact. This is a company that's now being handed the personal data of every American citizen through a Trump executive order that eliminates data silos across agencies. And our government, our dickhead government over here, has signed a contract with Palantir to give them our NHS data, your medical data. What the fuck? So let's talk about this master database. This is not a conspiracy theory. It's been confirmed by the ACLU and by the New York Times and by whistleblowers. This is going to cover in America, and I'm telling you this because this is coming to the UK. Tax filings, medical records, social security info, disabilities and benefits, student loan data, immigration status, bank accounts, and firearm ownership. Previously, these were stored separately. Trump's order lets Palantir fuse them into one searchable, weaponizable profile per person. Okay. Wow, that's one freedom-loving country. Look at all the freedom they love. They love all the freedom. Why would you not want to go to America? Well, maybe because you wrote that Trump was a see you next Tuesday on the internet once in 1987. Before the World Wide Web existed. Oh, you said this mean thing about Trump in the 80s. That's it. We're going to detain you for 3 months by ICE. We're going to just keep you here in the holding cell of this airport. Going to strip search you. Going to ram our fingers up your bum. Yeah, cool. Let's violate these tourists coming here because they wrote some hurty words against Donald Trump. Oh, it's actually all coming to a theatre near you. Coming to an American near you. Oh, Sue Fairy Dust B. Hello. With the pride flag. Hello there. Welcome to Lone Star. Welcome to our to the channel. Welcome. You are awesome. You are awesome, and now you get a little rose next to your name. That's quite cool. So if anyone else wants to join the channel, just like Sue has done, all you need to do, press the join button, and it's only a couple of quid a month. Although you can pay a bit more if you want. It's up to you. But it's all good. It's all good. Veg Pie says, picked up my cat for my disabled friend. Then friend went and died a couple of months later. Hence, I now have cats. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that about your friend, Veg. That's a bit shit. I'm very sorry to hear that. I hope you're all right. I hope the cat's all right. Trip. I watched a few of these comedy dudes. I watched the health one, crack me up. Anne says, because you may start going to America, but end up by not going home from El Salvador. I should be okay, as I don't have any tattoos. Can we still demand our GPs don't sell our data? Apparently so. Apparently we can opt out, but we're not given much information about it. So I might look that up for you, and we'll talk about it on a future show, because I don't have the information. Oh, if my pen would work. Opt out GP records. Okay, I'll find out. I will find out. So the Cody Vensky from the ACLU has said AI platforms like those built by Palantir are the key to pulling together the many data points the government has on each of us, just a click away from dozens of agencies. But the thing is, right? Here's the thing. This is going to include firearms. And what some of the smarter zombies of the MAGA movement understand, the clever ones, like in The Last of Us, some of the zombies are like clever zombies. Yeah. Like the smart, like the Urukai. Okay, so the Urukai of the MAGA movement have put their brain cell together, and they've realized that actually, what happens when Trump is no longer with us and there's no longer a Republican government in America? I mean, at some point in the distant future, there could be a Democrat in charge. There could be a new party. There could be the Socialist Party of America could be in charge. And they will have all that data on all those fucking inbred sister fucking rednecks and what weapons they own. Yeah, the inbred sister fucking rednecks don't like that, do they? No, they don't like it up them. Hardcore Trumpers have been saying on Twitter, Trump has flipped on us and was MAGA a psyop? And I didn't vote for this. Darling, sweetie, you beautiful, beautiful inbred fuck. You did vote for this. This is exactly what you voted for. Trump made no secret of the fact he wants to rule on the behalf of the billionaires. He was backed by the billionaires. The tech bros were all on board. Elon Musk was there on the campaign trail. It was made very fucking obvious by the words coming out of the prolapsed arsehole that is Donald Trump's mouth. So, little sympathy for you. But for the people who didn't vote for Trump, the people who actually voted for Kamala Harris, I feel sorry for them. I know they are a vanishing minority in America. Only 70 million or so of the 330 million people who live in America, nearly 300 million of which could have voted, and many of them chose not to bother. And now, even the fascists are losing faith. Nick Fuertes of Your Body, My Choice fame called it the ultimate betrayal. My sweet summer child. Trump is just getting started. You dumb motherfucker. God, you're so stupid. You're so dense, you bend light. So then, MAGA wanted other people surveilled. Migrants, leftists, Muslims. Not themselves. They didn't want that. They don't surveil me. I'm a good person. I'm a good gun owner. I'm a responsible gun owner. How can you be a responsible gun owner? It's an oxymoron. Surely. Yeah. See, the thing is, authoritarian power is never just for the enemy. It's totalitarian. Total. The word is in the fucking... The clue is in the word. Total. Totalitarianism. Total control over the personal sphere of your life by the government that you voted for, you daft ninnies. Once the mechanism exists, everyone gets sucked into the machine. That's the way it works, you fucking dickhead. Soylent Green is people. It's not just the people you don't like. It's people. Sorry. Spoilers. I know. Hey. Darren Christian, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. That's very kind of you. Isn't Darren Christian very kind? A little round of applause. Check out The Daily Show interview with Carol Cadwalla. Absolutely chilling. I've watched it, and it is absolutely chilling. And OMG, I hold the front page. Andrew Dixon has just gifted 50 Politics Social memberships. Andrew, you beautiful man. Thank you so much. OMG, 50 Politics Social gift memberships. I think this is going to be like everyone watching you isn't already a member is about to become a member. This is insane. Am I going to have to read everyone's name? I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to read everyone's name. I'm going to have to do it because that's what we do when people get a gift membership. We have to welcome the new members. But first, let me just say to Andrew, thank you. You are the best. You are the best. Oh my God. Here we go. If you're watching this on catch up, you might want to fast forward a couple of minutes. Okay, so Deborah, Molly, Osama, David, Living Dead Girl, Terrell, Maximilian, Huxley, Chris, David, Michael, Mad Macam Tech, Jenny, you the Guardian, you said wing like a bird's wing, Louise, Absolute Weapon, Lazarus, at Vonnie, Clough, Jordan, Not Another Budget, Rob Jones, John, Shrink, Fee, Equalizer, Luth, John. I'm sorry for not pronouncing these right. Oh shit! It's just done that thing, when it jumps ahead when you're sort of reading down the list. Let me just see if I can get. Oh, it's a feed now. John, Jamie, the Lampini, Anne, Ms. Catonic, Mark, Don, Tombo, Dude V, Mark D, Chris, Craig, David, Bacchus, Keller, Heller, Wings of Sue, Zoe, Steve B, Joe Jones, GP Artist, Bo Winson, Idle Spin, Ann S, Matt Jones, and that's it, Matt. Okay, so welcome new members, all 50 of you. Woo! Was that 50 names? I don't know. Wow. Thank you very much, Andrew. You are an absolute bloody legend, Andrew. Andrew Dixon, everyone. You are an absolute legend. And yeah, thank you. And welcome to all our new members. Welcome. You are awesome. All of you are awesome. You are awesome. Especially Andrew. Wow, 50. Woof. Take a breath, Graham. Take a breath. Take a swig of my coffee. It'll wake me up, I hope. Okay, so what are we talking about? Everyone getting sucked into the machine and spat out to Soylent Green. Just ask the Uyghurs or the Windrush victims. So back in Blighty, Farage's DOGE is Trump's surveillance playbook in a Union Jack. It's directly inspired by Trump and Musk's DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, which Musk helped create to cut federal funding, cut federal spending, but it only cut funding. So it cut funding to departments. There was the Institute of Peace, in which DOGE turned up and frog marched everyone out the office by with weapons, with guns. And they smashed up everything in the office, and then they left it derelict for 2 months. But here's the thing: the Institute for Peace isn't funded by the U.S. government. It's funded by like a private donations, bursary. It was founded by Congress, but they don't pay for it. It's nothing to do with them. The land that the office is on is owned by the Institute of Peace. The office is owned by the Institute of Peace. The workers are paid not by the taxpayer in America, but by the Institute for Peace. And they went back into the offices this week or last week, and they found that it was full of rats and vermin because it had just been left uncleaned. Do you know what the DOGE people had left? Weed. They'd left loads of drugs because they like drugs. Because most of these DOGE motherfuckers are fucking teenagers. Because teenagers like drugs and being dicks, smashing stuff up. And that's going to cost millions to the American taxpayer to put back together. Because they're going to, quite rightly, be sued by the Institute for Peace, which is not paid for by the government, for government agents coming in, smashing the place up, leaving it for 2 months. It's going to cost millions to fix. They deleted loads of files, 40 years worth of work. It's all got to be paid for. They've got to get it back. So, this Department of Government Efficiency ended up costing the taxpayer like billions, literally billions more than had they not done it. Plus, you got the big bastard bill going through Parliament in America at the moment, or Congress in America at the moment, and that big bastard bill is going to cost so much money because it's a massive tax break to the rich, an unfunded tax break for the rich. Don't know how we're going to pay for that. Except by putting up taxes, but yeah, any kind of savings that DOGE might have made, which they haven't. But if they did make any savings, that would be just swallowed up entirely by the fact that the big bastard bill is going to add another $3 to $4 trillion to the budget deficit in America. Alistair, member for 8 months. Well done, my superstar. That was very, very quick time. It was very good. Welcome. You are awesome. You are awesome. Then we will crack on. So yes. So basically, DOGE was set up to sack civil servants, and they sacked over 100,000 civil servants, all of whom are going to sue the government, which is going to cost more in the long run. And they're going to get rid of all the experience that went with them. They're going to have to hire new people to replace the people that they've gotten rid of. Also, the idea was to kill oversight. These tech bros do not like oversight. They don't like people telling them what to do. They just want to, move fast and break things. Because like the three tech bros who did all right out of it, as opposed to the millions of people who put their money into these startups that went nowhere. When dot-com bubbles burst, oh my God, they burst. And we're going to see the crypto bubble burst at some point, and that is going to be pretty fucking spectacular when that happens. Yeah, although the rich will make more money out of it and keep touting it as the future because they make loads of money out of it. It's no surprise that we got crypto became a thing in the last few years. It's been around for like 10 years or whatever, but last few years, crypto became this huge thing, and all the tech pros, all the billionaires have doubled their money. Their money, not your money, but their money. So Refuck is deploying these Doge teams in Kent and Staffordshire, made up of crypto bros, tech libertarians, and Peter Thiel fanboys to audit councils. This is a massive overreach of the power of those councils. They don't have the power to do this. They're going to be taken to task by the national government and also by trade unions. No elections, no process, just a letter from Farage saying hand over the files or we'll make it official. All right, mate. And one of the key players in this is a guy called Nathaniel Fried. Or Freed, maybe? Or Fraud? He's a 28-year-old crypto entrepreneur. So he probably just gambles with daddy's money. He's the founder of the DeFi platform called Oxbow. But it looks like the O in Oxbow is a zero. He's the former head of cybersecurity firm Turgensec, and he's pitched as a clean-cut face of digital reform, but he has no background in governance or public ethics. And Ed Davies said, if you're looking at Elon Musk's Doge and thinking that's the way we want to have our bins collected, you have learned the wrong lesson. Yeah. Something else that they're doing is they're saying that they're going to stop the pensions. So if you're working for the council, they want to stop the pensions that the council workers are getting. Because while Nigel Farage is very happy with the millions of pounds he gets from his MEP pension as a former member of the European Parliament, which he helped get us out of, so no one else could represent us. The guy who'd only turned up to one of over 40 Fisheries Commission meetings, he gets a nice pension from that. He's going to get a nice pension from being an MP for a few years. I'm sure he's going to get a very lovely pension. But he's going after the pensions of council workers. That includes the bin men. Nice that, isn't it? Isn't it nice that, to give back, multi-millionaire to give back to the people by stealing their pensions from them. What a lovely twat. What a lovely piece of shit. What an absolute clanging gobshite. My God. The fact that people have been taken in by this fucking con man just blows my fucking mind. Like, how fucking thick do you need to be to look at Nigel Farage and goes, yep, he's the guy who's got my best interests at heart. But here's the thing. They know what they're doing because they're told to do it by Putin. Putin and Saudi Arabia and Iran, they work together to create a refugee creation machine. That's why Russia has armed operatives all over Africa. 24 different states in Africa, 24 different countries in Africa have Wagner knobheads running around causing trouble. Why? To create refugees. Why do you think that Farage wants to get rid of low traffic neighborhoods, wants to get rid of any kind of wind turbines or solar panels or anything like that? Because he wants climate change to happen. You have to understand the mentality of these motherfuckers, okay? Why do you think Trump has dialed back all environmental protections? Why do you think Musk has set up a server farm in fucking Alabama somewhere that is just pumping out tons, literal fucking tons of pollutants in its fossil fuel funded, fossil fuel created energy that it needs for these AI servers. Why do you think he did that? Because, friends, they are a refugee creation machine. This is what the right wing are all over the world, a refugee creation machine. Once you start viewing these motherfuckers through this lens, through this prism, you will see what's really going on. They are creating refugees. The fastest way to create refugees is by political instability, war, famine, poverty, blah, blah, blah. Right. So we're going for. But the best way, long term, is climate change. Over 100 million people in Bangladesh live below sea level. Can you see what's going to happen? Can you see what's coming down the line? We're complaining about getting 1,000 refugees coming across the channel in a day. What about when it's 1 million? What's going to happen? People go, oh shit, people coming from other countries who don't look like me. That makes me uneasy. What if my wife leaves me for someone who looks like one of these people? Because they're nicer people. They're more polite. They're not a dickhead. You know, they don't put the feet on the table. Actually put the toilet seat down after going for a wee. Whatever it is. Whatever paranoia bounces through that brain of theirs. Around in their brain. What's going to happen? You're going to have authoritarian right-wing oligarchs in charge all over the world because they will say, look, immigrants, look, asylum seekers, look, ye at the refugees that we have helped create through climate change and war and pestilence and famine and all the other fucking horsemen of the apocalypse. This is their plan, and they are executing it. And every dickhead who votes for refuck is falling into the trap of a world that creates millions and millions, possibly over 1 billion refugees. Because climate change isn't just going to affect the Maldives and Tuvalu. It is going to fuck up things for people all over the world. And here's the thing. There'll be no more beaches. They'll be underwater all day. Beaches are all very low lying. That's why they use beaches. It takes a very, very long time to create a beach. They try and put artificial beaches in. They tend to get pulled out by the tide. You know? It's difficult. It's not easy. It's not easy to replace a beach. So yeah, we're going to be going on beach holidays to Lake Titicaca in the future. So that's the big long-term plan. And this is why. Watch what they do, right? Watch what they do. Watch what Trump does. Watch what Nigel Farage does, right? Every step they take is to create more refugees, to create more instability in the world, to create more wars, to create more arms, more weapons, manufacture more weapons. And they want us to burn as much carbon as possible, as soon as possible, because the sooner they make those refugees, the more powerful and therefore the richer these motherfuckers become. Donald Trump has made $3 billion so far this year through his fucking scams on the side. I mean, it's another league, but Nigel Farage, who's not the president of America, he's just an MP for Clacton, some shit town down in the south somewhere. I don't even know where the fuck it is. I don't want to know where it is. I never want to go there. Oh my God. Poor bastards who do live there. I feel sorry for some of them, I suppose. But this backbench opposition MP has made £1 million since he was elected through side hustles, selling shit like gold. What a gobshite. What an absolute fucking gobshite. So, councils have been told to surrender documents, whistleblower reports, and internal audits to Reform's DOGE team in Kent and Staffordshire. Those who resist could face motions of censure and potential dismissal. These are paid people. These are people who work for the council. The Kent team includes crypto donors, reform loyalists, and Aaron Banks. Yeah, that Brexit gobshite who took Russian gold and forgot to declare it. Forgot to declare it. Oops, I forgot about that gold. Imagine being so rich and privately educated and feckless that you get gold and you forget. Imagine that. Imagine having that much money to get gold and just forget that you've got, oh, God, yeah, it slipped my mind, that gold. Gold. Fuck it. These people do not live like us. They don't see the world the way that we see it. They don't understand. They don't hang around with people like you and me. They hang around with each other, and they have done since they plopped out their mother's fadge into a fucking pile of fucking filthy blood money. Made from ancestral wealth, I don't know, slavery, colonialism, plunder, banking. Little bastards. Little horrible bastards. So yeah, the Kent team, like these motherfuckers are running around now. This is not scrutiny. This is a coup. This is a coup. This is a local authority coup. And DOGE has no legal authority to do this. Or REFUC, I should say. REFUC have got no legal authority to do this. But it's acting as if it does. Councillors and officers now face threats from a political party for refusing to obey people with no official position. And Conservative opposition councillors say even they were this bad. Staffordshire by-election has already triggered after one REFUC councillor resigned over his calls to sink the boats of refugees. Well, I don't know why he resigned. That wouldn't cost him a single fucking vote from these people who vote for this kind of shit. It's just fucking crazy, isn't it? Should we talk about Trump for a moment? His fucking Strump coin. Strump coin, the meme coin of the realm. This personal meme coin, Strump. This guy who threw £1 million per plate fucking gala for top holders. The top 220 buyers got dinner invites. The top 25 got cocktails with the president. The top bidder gets some private time with Trump alone. Nothing dodgy about that, obviously. Trump holds a personal stake in Strump Coin, the World Liberty Financial, which is the crypto exchange which he owns, Bitcoin mining companies, and Truth Social's new Bitcoin treasury. The SEC fraud charges against Trump's top buyer, Justin Sun, have mysteriously disappeared after Trump's inauguration. Conflict of interest? No. He says, my sons handle all that. Well, you know, if it was Hunter Biden handling all the crypto for his dad, I'm sure we would have heard things about it. Trump is using the presidency. This is a quote from Senator Chris Murphy. Trump is using the presidency of the United States to make himself richer through crypto. It's an orgy of corruption. It absolutely is. And both in the US and the UK, crypto is now being used as a tool to evade fiscal transparency laws, financial transparency laws, to attract tech libertarians to fund parties outside traditional finance systems. REFUC have already said they're happy to take Bitcoin, undermine trust in regulated institutions, and to funnel foreign cash into hard-to-trace meme assets. So that foreign oligarchs, foreign authoritarians, foreign fascists, foreign butchers and barbarians like Vladimir Putin can openly give money as much as he fucking likes to the likes of Nigel, privately educated, rich, multimillionaire, Coots bank account, motherfucker, and no one can do anything about it. REFUC don't just want to take money from Bitcoin donations. They also they want tax cuts for crypto holders, and they want to push for a national Bitcoin reserve at the Bank of fucking England. And of course, Nathaniel Fried, the Doge golden boy, is a DeFi entrepreneur. The whole thing is one long tech grift masquerading as accountability. And this is modern fascism. This is how fascism modernizes itself. This era of power, profit, and surveillance. Old fascism used jackboots and radio towers. New fascism uses databases, crypto wallets, and AI tools. Like, this is the way that they are winning at the moment, and we are letting them for some stupid fucking reason. This is because I think it's because it's a little bit complex, but if it's simple enough for fucking Trump to understand, and I'm sure the rest of us can spend a few minutes trying to get our heads around it. This isn't about cutting costs. This is about undermining local democracy, preventing accountability, privatizing accountability, centralizing control in the hands of unelected billionaires, and normalizing surveillance's efficiency. When Musk, Thiel, Trump, Farage all support a policy, you can be damn sure it's not going to be one that helps the working class. Do I have to spell this out? Trump will do nothing for you if you are working class. Farage will do nothing for you. He is more interested in keeping his private jets in the fucking air. Keeping it so he can keep his fucking Coots posh bank account for rich people who don't want to have to pay overseas cash fees for taking money out of ATMs. That's for the little people. That's for the rest of us. They want to normalize surveillance and call it efficiency. You know, and we know where this leads, you know. Trump has used this system already to deny visas to people, to target political activists, to deport people from America who've done nothing wrong, who have a valid green card or a valid visa, to blacklist dissidents, to try and shut down Harvard. Farage's DOGE unit could smear councillors. It could kill public services. They don't give a shit about the bus. Do you think any of these people have ever got on a fucking bus? Do you think that Nigel Farage has ever got on a bus except his bollocks fucking, you know, his private bus that he had to go to walk from Sunderland to London, the march to leave? Remember that? When he's like there, like Lord fucking Farquaad, waving from the top of a bus while this half-dozen group of sad old twats walk down the fucking coast with like music being blared at them by the likes of Led by Donkeys going, oh my God, you idiots. And he's there in the rain waving. That's the only time he's got on a fucking bus. The only time Boris Johnson's got on the bus is when it's had a big fucking light fitted on the side of it. These people don't use public services. These people don't need a one-stop shop. They don't need Sure Start. They don't need any kind of New Deal for musicians. They have their daddy's money. They will never fail. Because as many times as they fail, it doesn't matter. They have their daddy's money. Do you understand? Daddy will always bail them out, even from beyond the grave. These people are going to be handing contracts to cronies like you will not believe. It's going to make the fucking it's going to make Liverpool City Council's corruption look like the fucking good ship lollipop. And they want to privatise oversight. This is not waste cutting. It's power centralisation. And it's the private sector seizing the levers of democracy at a local level and calling it disruption. And if people say to you, oh, this is about cutting waste and saving money for the taxpayers, if it were, Reform wouldn't be doing it outside of legal scrutiny. And they wouldn't be doing it. One moment. I'm really sorry. I have a proper frog in my throat. Oh, at least I got a mic I can turn off pretty easily. Oh, oh my God. I suddenly found myself, I've got a bit, I've got a bit Darth Maul. At last, we will have our revenge. Where was I? Okay, now that my voice is broken. If it were, Reform wouldn't be doing it outside legal scrutiny and without independent oversight. You want audits, you use the National Audit Office. That is the way of doing things, not dodgy Dave and his fucking Dogecoin mates with a spreadsheet and a fucking vendetta against anyone who wasn't born into unscrupulous amounts of money. And people who say this isn't just data efficiency. This is just data efficiency. Sorry, it's not surveillance. Efficiency for who? Like, councils have had their budgets cut to the bone over 14 years of Tory fucking malfeasance. These councils, like Liverpool City Council, had its central government funding cut by 49%. That's why there's so many potholes out there on the fucking roads. That's why they cut down the bin collection. That's why things are just crap in all these different places around the country, because central government funding has been cut. And that's why you are paying such a ridiculously higher than ever before amount for your council tax and getting so little bang for your buck. It's painful. When your personal data can be used to deport, deny benefits, or investigate political activity, that's not efficiency, that's control. You don't build multi-agency AI-driven databases with no purpose. And like people say, they're just modernising government. Trump, Farage, they just want to modernise government. Modernisation, right, requires democracy, transparency, and due process. This has none of those. This is just tyranny wrapped in tech. That's all it is. It's like a fucking Trojan horse, but it's a Trojan fucking AI robot. A useful little fucking friend who gets everything wrong. Shiny tools, same old bastards. And, we've entered the world of crypto-fascism. Dave Lister from The Past and the Future, a Time Slides episode of Red Dwarf from season 3, it's absolutely on the money. You're all a bunch of crypto-fascists. Didn't even mean anything in 1989 when the fucking show was shot. But I mean, now it means something. Now it definitely means something when you call someone a crypto-fascist. Questionable Absanity says, pretty sure the buses you cite were coaches. Questionable Absanity. So in the case of the big lie on the side of a bus, the bus that Boris Johnson was on, that was a coach. But the open-top bus that Nigel Farage was on, that was a bus. It was an open-top bus, but it was a bus. Refuck policy, austerity on steroids, says one angry pagan. Yeah, absolutely. We're being scammed. Not just out of our money, but out of our rights, our data, on our democracy. Our data is the most valuable thing that a lot of us own. Isn't that weird? The data is now more valuable than gold. He who controls the data controls the world. It's like the spice from fucking June. You control the data. That is the spice. And you can do so much with it because all these different advertisers, the various government departments are all vying for access to that data. They want to know what you think, what you do, how you feel, how they can flog your stuff, and if necessary, how to, the people to lock up who cause trouble, who speak too much. Stop speaking so much. Stop knowing things. Stop finding things out. Stop learning, you bastard. Stop learning. This is what happens when you let hedge funds are ghoulish anyway. They make their money through hedging their bets on companies failing, on companies that employ people and their families. They place bets on them on that thing failing. PayPal fascists like Musk and Thiel, ketamine CEOs like Musk again. I mean, fucking hell, that guy's off his tits on drugs. And that's so many of these people. They're off their fucking heads on drugs all the fucking time. Just look at Michael Gove. Jesus Christ, that man never saw the line. He didn't try and snort. And, they don't want to just cut the fat. They want to eat the whole fucking pig. Trump is selling dinner invites for like millions of dollars in crypto. Farage is threatening whistleblowers with gross misconduct. The libertarians are turning into authoritarians. I mean, it wasn't much of a leap. It wasn't much of a leap for many of these libertarians. Let's not forget, libertarians this is the mindset, right? They're rich anarchists who think that they and they alone should be able to do what the fuck they like with a healthy safety net paid for by the taxpayer, that they are too big to fail. So if they fuck up in like what happened with the credit crunch in 2007, 2008, when that fucks up, who steps in? The taxpayer, and bails out the banks. In the US, they bailed out the big three automobile companies. They bailed them out. Too big to fail. That's the system that these tech bros want to build. That's the system that Nigel Farage wants to build to ensure that they can make as much money as they like, privatize the profits, socialize the failures, socialize the losses. That's what they plan. That is exactly what these motherfuckers do. And the rest of us are stuck, fucking picking through the fucking wreckage of what they're doing. And potholes and councils and, one lost freedom of a fucking time. And this isn't about left versus right. This is about corruption versus accountability. It's as simple as that. And the people voting for Trump and the people voting for reform are saying they don't want our elected officials to be held accountable. They want their guy in charge because he's going to be mean to immigrants. He's going to be mean to trans people. The spreadsheet Stasi. That's what these people are. Crypto-fascists. So, Paula, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. That's very kind of you. Trouble is, Reeves and Starmer are reacting with spending that will backfire because Refuck will get the credit. I know. There's been 15 million, is it? Sorry, I dropped the top of my pen and it's annoying me. I know that shouldn't matter to anyone, but it mattered to me. 15 million. It's a 15 billion. It's a 15 million, isn't it? It's not going to be 15 billion, I don't think. But they're putting a lot of money into public transport in the north and the Midlands. So good. But yes, you don't really want Lincolnshire County Council to be getting any of the credit for that. But that is essentially an issue that we have to look at with Labour is their comms are shit. We keep saying this. Their comms are fucking shit. Why they don't have a unit that just helps our MPs do their own social media, at the very least. Talking to MPs and they're like, oh, we've recorded some things, but I just don't have the time to get them online. I don't really know what I'm doing. So people who know what they're doing, get them online, By the way, if anyone wants to start watching this, because there's still a bunch of gift memberships that have not been given out yet. So these are people who I don't know if you're watching, maybe subscribe to the channel and you might get a gift membership, which is cool because you do get access to the Discord server, the Politics Social Discord server. So please, one and all, come on, give us a subscribe, and you never know, you might be gifted with a membership. Questionable obscenity. Don't confuse libertarian with anarchism, please. Libertarianism is rules without rules. Anarchism is rules without rulers. Big difference. I don't agree. Questionable obscenity. I mean, like, anarchy is whoever's got the biggest stickers in charge, and we've seen it. We've seen it in Mogadishu, in Somalia, and it's fucking horrible. It's not a nice way. It's not a nice way to live. It works in small communes, but across a nation state, it's never worked and it never will work. And totally, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. That's very kind. It's never been left versus right. We need to change it so it's us versus them, the poor versus the rich. Tax, wealth, not work. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you about that. Except I wouldn't say poor. I think it should be the rich and the not rich. But everyone thinks they're rich. Okay, so the filthy rich. I like to separate them off and say they went to private school. Do you know why? Because once you've grown up, you can't aspire to go to private school. Maybe you can aspire for your kids to go to private school, but like there's nothing there for you. There's no interest in those private schools operating if you didn't go to one. But there's a weird thing about British people. They defend the upper class so much. But yeah, instead of saying poor, I think working people versus the feckless rich. There you go. The lazy, feckless rich who just do whatever the fuck they want, fail as many times as they like, and still stay in power. Sonic Shadow, I'm not sure if I have a gift membership. I am subscribed, though. It might come. It's just a weird algorithm. It just gives it out randomly to people. A lot of the people's names that came up on that list once I dropped the 50 memberships. I've not seen a lot of those names before. I don't know if they've ever left a comment before. So there you go. 50 billion to go to the north, not 15 billion to go to the... Wow, bloody hell. That's a fuckload. Really? 15 billion? Jesus. Well, thanks for letting me know, One Angry Pagan. That's a lot of money. And also, money well invested, because for every pound that you spend on public transport, you get about £10 back in increased economic activity. You can't have social mobility without physical mobility. Living in a country where millions of people are effectively under house arrest because they can't go anywhere because it's too fucking expensive to go anywhere. They just stay in the houses. There's no bus service on a Sunday around here. So you're elderly, you're not going to go anywhere. You know, if you're in a wheelchair, you can't get down the fucking road because every bastard parks on the fucking pavement. You can't get past. You're just staying home. You know, these things can be sorted out. More public transport, fewer fucking cars. Slow the cars down. Slow the fucking cars down. Traffic calming measures, low traffic neighbourhoods. Oh, they don't like that, do they? The fascists, the Farages, the fascist Farages, they don't like that. Oh, no, low traffic neighbourhoods. Oh, they're making us drive at 20 miles an hour. Yeah, because at 20 miles an hour, a kid is hit by a car, 1 in 20 dies. If they hit at 30 miles an hour, half of them fucking die. And if they hit 40 miles an hour, most of them fucking die. That's the one where it's slower, right? Just slow the fuck down. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We are now living in a world where we can all plot where we're going to on Google Maps on the way to where we're going. And we have witnessed, we have all been there, friends, Romans, countrymen, we have all been there. We have learned that if you drive like a twat on the motorway, ramming up people's arses and making them move out the way so you can go a little bit faster, so you can drive at 80 miles an hour rather than 70 miles an hour, you get to your destination 1 minute faster. And you're like, oh God, was that stress worth it? I could have just put into, 70 miles an hour, put it into cruise control, just... My God, imagine if we still had train lines, eh? Imagine if we still had multiple train lines. We could put, cargo on different train lines. So if you need to get some cargo from Manchester to London, you could do it on the central the central main line. Yeah, wouldn't that be because with the East Coast main line, the West Coast main line used to be the central main line. You could just put them on that. Maybe not use that for passengers. Maybe just use that just exclusively for goods. Then we wouldn't have to share the railways with the goods, and therefore you could put more goods on the railways and fewer trucks on the motorways, because trucks aren't just shit because they make you have to get out the inside lane every 5 seconds because you've got to overtake the motherfuckers, but also they create a lot more damage. They do a lot more damage to the motherfucking roads than cars do. Put them on the railways instead. But no, we've dug up the central main line in the 1960s on the grounds that, well, we've already got the East Coast main line and the West Coast main line, so why do we need an extra one? Maybe for cargo. Maybe that could have been for cargo. For cargo. You see, the thing is, things could come into Liverpool to the docks, and they could get off the docks, off the boats, off the post-Panamax cargo ships, put them onto a train that is 200 carriages fucking long, and it could take one of 3 routes to Manchester. And then when it gets to Manchester, it could keep going through the Woodhead tunnels to Sheffield and then down to London on the central main line. And it could not bother anybody else, not bother any other passenger services. But we decided not to do that. We decided to block off one of the ways to fucking Manchester. If you go on the Northern Line in Liverpool, that line goes all the way to Wigan. Actually, it goes all the way to Manchester. On one of the fucks, and this is one that goes by Kirby, and we decided to get rid of that. We put like buffers on the track at Kirby, buffers. So you got this train line, and then you got a buffer, and then the train line continues. And if you want to continue, you got to get off the train you're on, walk along the platform to the other end of the platform, and then get on the second train, and then that takes you to Wigan or Preston or whatever. Oh, it's Wigan, isn't it? Anyway. Someone's going to tell me now that it's not Kirby, is it? That's the one that goes to Preston, Graham. There's one that goes to Wigan, which has they've added an extra stop, haven't they? I'm just literally talking to like one person who knows the Merseyrail system here. But, yeah. Man, different ways of getting to Manchester, and then a different way to get to London, and then you could take all the lorries off the motorway, and then everyone could just travel in the inside lane at 70 miles an hour. You wouldn't need 3 lanes anymore. If you got rid of all the fucking lorries, you wouldn't need 3 lanes, because at the moment, the lorries take up 2 fucking lanes, and all the cars are in the outside lane, trying to get past all the fucking lorries. Just saying. Right, Chris C, thank you very much. Ordinary people versus the feckless, wealthy, and elite. Yeah. How about good people? Good, honest people versus the lying, feckless, lazy, sadistic elite. Yeah, there you go. Alistair, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Keep it up. Graham, P.S. Get some honey and throat sweet for your PMQ live, my friend. You may have a hard time on your voice. Yeah, no, my voice is all right. It's just, I think it was just, you know, when you just get like a real in your throat and you can't get rid of it. It's a bit embarrassing when you're streaming live, isn't it? But thank you very much for the super chat. Woo, super chat. They're like Dave. I think the local council's already still in dispute with the government over pensions and working conditions. Yeah, I think they are. While I agree that 15 billion investment in public transport, the majority of public transport is provided by private companies like First Group, says Chris C, and Aviva. It's enriching the private shareholders. Yeah, I agree. I want buses re-regulated and put under public control. I think it's really ridiculous that we are subsidising train fares for people on the Deutsche Bahn in Germany, on the SNCF in France. I think it's ridiculous that we're doing that out of our bus fares, which are ridiculously high in this country. Right, moving on. Should we do the papers really quick? Really quick, because I've gone 11 minutes over time. And we've got Christine here. I date men and women. Woohoo! Saucy. Who doesn't? Anyway, moving on. Closing the gap. 15 billion boost for transport. Yeah, it is 15 billion. I'm very impressed with that. That's a lot of money. Welcome. You're awesome. Yeah, that's a lot of money. That is a lot of. And then Mum's message to Labour. I lost my girl. Think again on cuts. This is an awful story about Joy Dove, who is the mother of her daughter who took her own life after her disability cuts were taken erroneously by the previous Tory government. And I think this makes a very good point about the fact that when you're dealing with some of the most vulnerable people in the country, the best thing to do is not be a twat about it and not make it so like it's an uphill struggle for people to get the benefits of which they deserve, because their life is an uphill struggle anyway. And this is why it's so important to have diversity training in companies and businesses in any walk of life, because until you are told this stuff, you just won't think about it. You just won't think about it. You won't consider it. So yeah, back to the papers. Trade deal delay leaves British steel at the mercy of Trump tariffs. There you go. So basically, Trump has doubled his tariffs to 50%, although we're staying at 25%. Although it's supposed to be at 0%. But that's not going to come in for a while. So it's going to be 25% for a while. Great. I took weight loss drug and my life fell apart. Oh, God. Jesus Christ. Can't win, can you? One day it's like, hey, take this weight loss drug, take this injection, and it'll cure you of cancer. And the next week is, oh, my life fell apart after this. Do you know what? It's almost as though everyone's different. It's almost as though everyone's chemical and molecular makeup is different and individual and unique and not like anyone else's. That might be like your twin brother or sister, but I mean, apart from that. Yeah. Works for some people, doesn't work for others. Headline news. Fuck me. Right. Police cuts mean some crimes must be ignored. Well, maybe crimes that aren't really a crime. Maybe we can ignore them. Like, having a small quantity of marijuana. I don't think that should be a crime. Police excavate a ruined Algarve village, which is called Alitalia, in the hunt for Madeleine McCann, who vanished in 2007. Christian Bruckner, the prime suspect, lived nearby. This really disturbing news on one of the other papers about him getting out very soon. Here you go. It's on the front cover of the Star. Go away. Heidi High. There's a Heidi there, whoever that is. I'm looking forward to a nice steak and a beer, and they've written the word bastard, sick chat, TV chat as hunt begins. And they've blacked out the word bastard. There you go. And this is about the fact that he could be out within a year, because he's not in for murder. He's in for sexual assault, I think, and he could be out. He could be out within a year. They reduced women to no more than sex dolls with a pulse, says Vanessa Feltz, talking about online pornography, which after 30 years she has just discovered. Well done, Vanessa. Privately educated, of course, because she's on the front cover of a newspaper. And she hasn't done something horrible. Well, she has. Royal scare as intruder breaks into Windsor. So we've got the royals, the couple of the families there, privately educated, of course. And then we've got, now it's good weather to blame for boat surge. Labour has been ridiculed for blaming record migrant crossings on better weather in the Channel. Well, I mean, that was the only reason why the number went down under the Tories at any point was because the weather was shit. How to armour plate your finances against Reeves' next tax bombshells. Well, I don't have any fucking savings. I don't have a pension. And I don't have a fucking mortgage, so I don't give a fuck. Sorry, can I be selfish for a change? I don't care. Don't fucking care. Don't need to armour plate my finances. And basically, this is like how to evade tax on the front cover of the Daily Mail there, which is nice. Heartbreak for Holly as bear hunt show axed. What they're hunting hairy butch gay men. What? That shouldn't be a TV. You have that during Pride Month, you bastards. Leave the sexy birds alone. As Labour tries to blame weather for surging crossing, new figures tell another story. The evidence Rwanda plan did deter small boats. Fuck yourself, you fucking idiots. At the Daily Heil there. Bernie Sanders, there's a class war going on. Yeah. It was such a magical thing, the making of the Goonies. There you go. Goonies 2 might be coming out at some point. I don't know. They keep threatening it on the internet. Reeves in £15 billion spending pledge to placate fractious Labour MPs. Commitment to Northern Transport aims to counter fear of return to austerity. So yeah, that is a lot of money. That is a lot of money. Trams, trains, and buses outside London. Thank fuck at last. Israel kills 27 Palestinians waiting for food. Let's get into this for a moment, okay? So this is an awful story. Again, as all stories coming out of Gaza are pretty fucking awful right now. And we keep seeing these Israel apologists on the TV and on the radio and on TikTok saying things like, well, you know, you're just reprinting what Hamas is saying and you're taking it at face value. To which the journalists are saying, well, let the journalists in. Let the journalists in and they can validate anything that Hamas says themselves, can't they? And then the Israelis said, but we can't guarantee their safety. And then the response is, but you're not responsible for their safety. They're responsible for their safety. The news agency that they work for, or the TV channel, or the newspaper that they work for is responsible for their safety. Not you. Not you. That's not your job. That's literally not your job. So they want it so that there's no independent journalists, but you can't trust anything that Hamas says. And you're like, okay, it's just catch-22, isn't it? Okay, let the journalists in, then we can't do that. Frustrating doesn't begin to describe the feeling of helplessness and what's going on. Planned bill is a threat to English nature. More than 5,000 of England's most sensitive, rare and protected natural habitats are at high risk of being destroyed by development under Labour's new planning bill, according to legal analysis of the legislation. The bill poses to 5,251 areas known as nature's jewels in the crown. I don't know where these are, but like, this does stink of NIMBYism to me. I don't know enough about it. I'd like to look into it more. Obviously, I don't want natural environments being destroyed, but here's the reality. Unless we actually do something now to protect our environment in general, like, we are at serious risk of destroying it all. So, yeah, if we do need to build more infrastructure in the countryside, in this country, it's something that we have to do. I don't want to do it. I wish we weren't put in this position by the tyrannical oil companies, the filthy fossil fuel companies that have made billions and billions, trillions of dollars over the years selling this black shit that they dig out the ground, this carbonated crap that destroys the environment and kills plant life and animal life and acidifies the sea and makes the tides go higher and higher and higher, causes glaciers to retreat and causes the ice caps to melt. Yeah, I kind of, we need more homes. We need more homes. And these companies and these fucking tech oligarchs and oil magnates are very happy to build roads. They're happy to build motorways through anywhere they fucking want. But, oh my God, build some homes. Build a railway. Build a railway. How dare you? How very dare you? God, cars are all right. Yeah, well, motorways. Yeah, we'll have an M6 relief road. Yeah, we'll have that. Back to the papers. My curly hair trauma. Straighties don't have to worry about looking like an alpaca, by Kate Lister. I think that curly hair is gorgeous. I think straight hair is gorgeous. I think it depends who's got it on their head, really. Are they a nice person? Then it's fucking gorgeous. I know people who've got naturally curly hair, and I think it looks awesome. And they spend half the fucking day straightening the bastard because they think they've been told it makes them look better. In the 90s, you were told not to have eyebrows. Women plucked their eyebrows and redrew them with a fucking pencil, the black pencil. That was the eyebrows of the 90s, and now it's all the eyebrows have got to look like Groucho Marx. So I'm sure things will come round again, where women with straight hair are like, "Oh my god, my straight hair is disgusting. I look like Morticia Adams. Quickly, get me some hair curlers. I need a perm." Because that's what it was like in the 1980s when perms were in, when women with straight hair needs to have curly hair. It's almost as if there's some kind of, I don't know, capitalist system that always says the grass is greener on the other side of the river. Yeah, funny that, isn't it? Almost as though that's a way to make money out of people that don't really need to give you the money, nor should they give you the money. I love Trump's hair, 10 out of 10, no notes. Thanks very much for that, Hilgawa. Labour need to panic, losing more of us by the day, says Mr. Tisk. Couldn't agree more. Dave says the murder of Palestinians by IDF was absolutely horrifying and disgusting. They weren't on the right path. They were killed for jaywalking. Disgusting. Yeah, absolutely disgusting. There's no excuse for it. Gallifreyan Ren says, "Oh, for pity's sake, the worst you have to whine about is having curly hair in your newspaper column. Maybe your life isn't that bad." But also, the crusade against curly hair, it's rooted in racism. Like, black women very rarely are seen sporting afro haircuts. And many, many black women that I know, they shave their head and wear fucking wigs. Because their natural hair is deemed unsightly by fucking society. Like, I watched the 1970s blaxploitation movies, Foxy Brown and all that. I mean, fucking hell, they're gorgeous. Are you mad? Who thinks this looks bad? Racists, mostly. But yeah, rooted in racism, I think. Maybe thinking that curly hair is also anti-Semitic. Because if you are an observing Orthodox Jew, then you obviously have your payers, you have your curly sideys. Yeah, that's part of your religious outfit, your kit. You know, the way you work, the way you wear. Anyway, back to the papers. UK to stockpile military medical supplies for nuclear attacks. That's fucking terrifying, isn't it? What's the fucking point? If you get attacked by the military, by nuclear attacks, it's kind of the end of everything. We need iodine. Quick, get the fucking iodine out. Male baby boomers are in decline and women are about to get very rich. Hey! It's time for men of a certain age to start looking up rather than, you know, find yourself a gilf. Media match of the life after BBC for Lineker after he scores a new deal. And politics, Jenrick's mayoral ambitions are just a proxy for the Tory leadership war. Jenrick. I mean, did anyone see him? He went round like accosting people for jumping over the barriers and the train stations in London. And he just got absolutely torn apart for it. So Lewis Goodall was he's like, so basically you think that it's a bad thing if people break the law to do stuff? Well, yeah. So what about that time that you broke the law to the tune of £40 million where you gave Richard Desmond the heads up about a new tax that was going to come in his building development in Tower Hamlets, one of the poorest boroughs in London, by the way, and got his planning permission rushed through the day before to make sure that he didn't have to pay this extra tax that he would have had to pay the day after, and that was found to be unlawful. And it was pointed out to Jenrick that the person who jumped over the barrier, who didn't pay his £2.50 fare to get on the train, like they did that every day for the next 11,000 days or something. the next 2,000 years, then yeah, maybe they'll be comparable. crimes, but Janet was like, it was a long time ago. It was 5 years ago. It's gone back on. It's still going on about that, which is just so Sideshow Bob. It is just like a Sideshow Bob excuse. I killed someone, but it was a long time ago. Was it really a crime? Was it? Did they give Nobel prizes for attempted chemistry? I think not. Financial Times here. Next up is the Financial Times. Would help if you could see it as well at home. There you go. Voters take sides on what it is to be Italian. Interest rates are normal in abnormal times, says Martin Wolf. Career change. See why they've done that? Because it's like a career change. How do we solve a problem like career? Opposition's Lee in poll win. So there you go. People are happy there. Thames Water on brink as KKR scraps £4 billion rescue effort amidst political fears. Renationalisation looms. US investor walks away. Worries over risk of meddling. Options narrow. So this is a really interesting story about Thames Water being run by a bunch of fuck-ups for many years. And Clive Lewis's seemingly one-man crusade. Clive Lewis MP, who's one of our favourites on this channel, his one-man crusade to try and stop these fucking gobshites making money out of our fucked water companies. And he has been very vocal about it, but he's been swatted down by his fellow Labour MPs who are saying, but no, if we re-nationalise it now, it'll cost us more money and it'll cost the taxpayers money because we'll be lumped in with all this debt that they all owe us. Fuck it. Fucking write off the debt. Just say time to fuck off. The company went bad. Your investment may go up or down. Okay? So you got to understand, I'm really sorry for these investment firms, these pensions in Canada that have invested heavily in British water, but that's it. I'm sorry, you're not going to get an extra penny. The company's gone tits up. I know it looked like a sure deal. I know it looked like a no-brainer, a monopoly that supplied the water and was supposed to take away all the shit in London, but it didn't work that way. It didn't work. Renationalise it now and tell all the shareholders to fuck off. That's it. Sorry. I know that you owe billions, but I know that this company borrowed from you, but you shouldn't have lent them the money. It's a gamble. And sometimes when you gamble, you lose. Sorry, go find somewhere else to invest. Go invest in the fucking privatised water companies in... I was going to say the name of another country, but there is no other country that privatises its water facilities. It's funny that. Got the idea for that off Monopoly, didn't they? But last story at the bottom here, and Big Four to cash in clamour for auditing effectiveness of clients' AI tools. AI is your friendly little robot. It gets everything wrong. It gets everything wrong. It gets everything wrong. Maddie Search. So this is on the Metro here about Madeleine McCann and the fact that they're still looking for her remains, grim as it is. And here we have £3.50 for the Telegraph. £3.50 for a newspaper that just talks bollocks. And here's a story that I wanted to point out today. So this is a think piece by Oliver Brown, and I've not looked him up, but I'm sure he went to private school. Should we look him up? While we do this? I might have to add him to my private school mafia list. Oliver Brown, Telegraph, school. Let's see where he went. Writer for the Daily Telegraph. He is a freelance writer and a creator. He is no, he's not going to tell anyone else. He's not going to tell us what school he went to. Hang on. Experiences, education. He went to Vardian College. What the fuck is Vardian College? Let's have a look for that. Vardian College. It's a sixth form college in Brighton. It meets the needs of sixth form students. Oh, it's a public school. It's okay. It's not. Oh, hang on. There is a secondary school. It is just it's a community school. Okay, I'll let it off. So Oliver Brown, right? Didn't go to private school, but still a gobshite. So not everyone who went to private school is a gobshite, and not every gobshite went to private school. Just putting that out here. But the Khalif scandal brings shame to the spirit of the Olympics. So this is a lie that's been put out at the moment by World Boxing, who took over from the corrupt Russian-led International Boxing gobshites a couple of years ago, where they said that Imane Khalif and another athlete were biologically male. This was a lie because they were beating the Russian athletes and they didn't want that. And now they're saying that she has to undergo a genetics test to ensure that she doesn't have any pesky Y chromosomes, which she doesn't, in order to compete in the Olympics. And World Boxing it is not the Olympics for another few years. And this is another just screaming case of transphobia from the Daily fucking Telegraph, the most disgusting right-wing rag there is. I mean, it's overtaken the Scum and the Daily Mail to become the number one purveyor of bullshit in the United Kingdom. It's quite fucking painful. But apparently this brings shame to the spirit because they're obsessed with the idea that because she doesn't look traditionally feminine enough for their likings in their white male gaze, they declared her that she can't possibly be a high achieving woman. Like, how can a woman do this well at boxing? How can a woman win a gold in the women's boxing tournament in the Olympics? How can that happen at welterweight? I just don't understand. And the whole thing is an absolute fucking disgrace. And have you noticed as well? Just have a look. This is how they do it. This is how they do their propaganda. Look at how their picture is cropped there. They've cut off her hair. They've cut off her hair to focus on her face and say she looks too masculine. But actually, she's a welterweight. She's quite a small woman. She's not like huge. Do you know what I mean? She's slender. She's not like, she's not built with big fuck off muscles like a man would have big fuck off muscles, especially if they were a welterweight boxer. It's just racism and transphobia there on the front cover of the Daily Telegraph, and the shame is on the transphobes. The shame is on the misogynists, the exclusionary, regressive misogynists, the fucking germs of this world. And I am a germ phobic. I fucking hate the germs. It is not a great. It's not a good look, is it? Maybe my flag at Glastonbury should just say germ. Just have a still from the Kate Nash video for germ. What do you reckon? It says germ on it. Germ. Anyway, so we don't call them TERFs anymore. Call them germs. Trump attacks BBC over Hamas coverage. White House press secretary says terror groups' accounts are reported as total truth. They are not. They are not. Because the BBC have to put them in inverted commas in the same way that they have put inverted commas there, White House press secretary. And the weird thing is with the BBC is that when it comes to reporting about Gaza, I don't think they're reporting enough. But they can't because they can't get their fucking journalists into Gaza to verify any of this shit. I don't know. Right. Anyway, so back to the papers. NATO will force Britain to spend 3.5% on defence. All right, whatever. And then we've got RAF Chief flies high as head of armed forces. Air Chief Marshal Sir Richard Knighton is the next Chief of Defence Staff. The Telegraph understands Sir Richard, the first engineer to hold the highest RAF job, was previously employed as Chief of Defence Staff in charge of military capability. Oh, that's nice. White Britain's in a minority. There's a bit more dog whistling here. There you go. Here's the whole great replacement theory on the front cover of the Telegraph. White Britain's a minority in 40 years. All right, whatever. Christ, what am I going to do when I'm fucking 86 and there's more people who are brown and black than there are white people? Oh no. I'll cry myself to sleep. I really will. Madeline detectives search ruined houses. And the thing. I just talk about that for a moment because I found this really interesting. Paula, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. And Rennie Richards won how many Wimbledon championships? Exactly. So thanks very much for the super chat. I don't know who Rennie Richards is. I don't really get the reference. I'm sorry. Not up on my Wimbledon championships. So here's a weird thing that's worth pointing out. How come your right-wing fascist, crypto-fascist, oligarch, tech bro motherfuckers, right? How come they don't give a fuck about the future of the planet when it comes to climate change, which they say isn't real and isn't happening, and they put their fingers in their ears and go la 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 la. It is happening. I've seen it. It's covering my island in Panama with fucking water because the tides are rising. The tides are rising. I can see it. I've seen it over the last 10 years where I've owned a low-lying island in Panama. I've seen the tides rise, okay? I've seen it with my own eyes. Okay? I don't need to rely on all the scientific data of 50 years from the likes of the Met Office and NASA and all these pesky scientists, the University of East Anglia, doing all these reports, drilling into ice cores and sending up weather balloons to measure the CO2 in the atmosphere. I don't need to know that to know that the tides are getting higher. So you've got these tech bros that don't give a fuck about the future of the planet because, the tides are rising. But also give a fuck about the future of humanity in case there's more black people in it than white people. In case there's more Chinese people, in case there's more Indian people in the future of humanity than there is white people. Which I think there already is, isn't there? Isn't it? If you put the population of Africa and India and China together, it's like that's the majority, right? Right? Yeah? Yeah? So in one way, they are very, 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 very mortally concerned about the future of humanity when it's nice and racist. They're not concerned when it's about doing anything about the shitty position that we're putting the planet in right now. Funny that it's almost as if they haven't really thought it through. Talking of not thinking things through, I've now yabbered on till 10:37, right? And I've got another show to do at 12 o'clock because I've got 5 minutes of questions. So I need to go now. I thought something through though. I did have my breakfast before the show today, so that helped. Oh, Paula Thomas, transgender tennis player in the 70s and 80s. Oh, wow, cool. I didn't know about that. Grimfang999 says because they don't think that anything human is important and we're too stupid to understand how it impacts us. 2 older fellas sat opposite us with backs to them, asked them to be quiet. Of course, they started to get even more rowdy and cheered at the older blokes. That sounds a bit rubbish. Sarah says, Graham, they don't care about their own kids. Why would they care about us? Well, they do care when they're being racist. And they're being racist. Maybe we could frame that. Maybe we could say, look, the tides rise, and all the people who live on the coast of Africa and live on the coasts in Asia will go, oh shit, got nowhere to live now, and they'll all come here. And there'll be less space for them to live in this country because we're an island that will have no beaches in a few years' time, thanks to climate change. So then the people from the other countries will definitely outnumber us. Oh yeah, they're going to outnumber us like 10 to 1. Then you can see what it's like to be a minority. Oh, is that the problem? Is that the problem? You don't want to be a minority? Why is that? I thought we treated minorities very well in this country. That's what I was led to believe. I thought that they had all the rights they need and some more. I thought if you were a minority and you came from another country, you got a free house and a free car and a cruise ship holiday every 6 months. That's the way it worked. Why wouldn't you want to be a minority? Hang on. Is what you're saying is being a minority in a country isn't that great? Oh, why is that? Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? The amount of cognitive dissonance in the brain boxes of these right-wing voting motherfuckers is just off the charts. How they can hold so many competing ideas in their heads at the same time. No wonder they go mad. George, last super chat of the morning. Thank you very much. £5. The police are about to start selecting cases that they will either will or won't investigate. 0 prizes for guessing the cases they drop. Indeed. Yes, indeedy. George. And Captain Coconut. Go, Graham. Smart not for PMQs. I hear Badenoch is driving into PMQs in a clown car, but the doors have already fallen off. Should be good. Imagine she turns up in the clown car and it's on fire and she closes the door. It's like in that bit in the Blues Brothers where the Bluesmobile just falls apart when they get to the Cook County Commissioner's office. Okay, so I'm going to head off now. I've got to say that you are just the most wonderful audience that YouTube, that exists on YouTube. This is a really great gang that we have built over the last couple of years on this channel. So thank you all. And I am going to be back at 12 o'clock for PMQs. So before then, one little favour for me, give us a like. Give us a like, give us a like. Or give a dislike, whatever. All interaction is good. And until 12 o'clock, I'll say thanks for watching. Thank you for the chat. Thank you very much for the super chat. Thank you in particular to Andrew Dixon for gifting 50 Politics Social memberships, which is just phenomenal. Thank you so much. And until next time, I'll say thank you so much for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.